All right, everybody, welcome back to The Blueprint, part 4 of our web series. Today we're going to be talking about confidence and what it is that you're really selling. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everybody. I'm David Kurz.
Rudy Hernandez, welcome back.
And we are the owners of Kurz Real Estate and
New World Title.
New World Title. And we've been working together for quite some time, and we are the co-authors of The Blueprint, which is a great book that we wrote about the strategies of building and developing a strong real estate business. Today, it's all about confidence. We're going to be talking about what it is that you, as a real estate professional or as a salesperson, are really selling out there. All right? So let's go right into it. I know this is your favorite subject. It's my favorite subject, right? And so I always say, when you're hanging out in a crowd, right? You're in a group or you're in a restaurant, you're somewhere, and somebody walks in that has this amazing confidence, stature, and swag, right? You want to call it swag. They got this swag that they just walk in, and everybody in the room just kind of like glances. I want to meet that person.
Absolutely.
Makes sense, right?
You don't want to run away from that person, that's for sure.
I want to meet that person, right?
Absolutely.
Better yet, I want to be that person.
Okay.
Right? And so building confidence comes with a lot of different things. So let's just go right into it. In order to be super confident at what you do and who you are, there are some things you need to have. First of all, the appropriate mindset.
Belief.
Right? You have to have the belief that you are the only option out there for people to work with. There are no other real estate professionals out there in your mind.
Absolutely.
Right? Like, whoever's not working with you, man, it's almost like you feel bad for them.
Sure.
You know what I mean? The other thing you have to have is the knowledge in your business.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have to know your business.
You really do.
You can't just come in and just be like, all right, I'm confident, but I don't know anything. You know what I mean? And then, so another thing you got to know is your numbers.
Yep.
Right? If you're in real estate, you got to know the numbers. You got to know what's happening with interest rates. You got to know what's happening in the nation. You got to know what's happening in your neighborhood more importantly than anything else.
You got to know about title. You got to know about what they're doing in the numbers in title. You got to understand the intricacies of a mortgage, interest rates. Agreed.
Yes. And then you have to know your product.
Yes.
Right? Your sales team sells title work.
Absolutely.
My sales team sells
real estate.
Real estate. If they don't know their product, they can't sell it appropriately, right?
No, they can't.
Now, you have salespeople on your sales team that don't actually do the title work.
Correct.
Correct. But they know it.
They do.
So that's it.
It's imperative.
It's it. I used to work in the Marine Corps, right? When I was in the Marine Corps, I knew weapons.
Right.
I wasn't necessarily the one shooting people,
but
I knew the weapon. And I knew it really well.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
And so you have to know your product in order to sell that your product is appropriate.
Absolutely.
You know? What else do you think you need to encompass for confidence?
I think you've given the key.
The key 4, let's say.
I think the key 4, absolutely. Confidence does come from within. It's built over time, and I think that you've got to celebrate every small victory and turn that victory into a confident moment in your life.
Knowledge base.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And every failure.
Sure.
Right? Because Michael Jordan said it best. Fail forward.
Absolutely.
Right? Fail forward. You know? And so, listen, if every failure, the great salespeople in the world, they look at a failure and they don't get upset with that failure. They look at it as a learning experience. They put it in their education bank. They put it away, and it helps them build their confidence in the way that they know better what to do next time.
The following time.
The following time, right?
Yes.
And then, all right, so knowing your mindset, knowing your business, knowing your numbers, and more importantly, knowing your product.
And you know what?
Right?
That's easier said than done.
How about knowing your competition?
Absolutely. That's huge. Thank you. Competition is very key. It's what drives you. And if it isn't what drives you, it should drive you.
Yep.
And understanding what it is that they're doing. understand what it is that they're doing well, understanding what they're not doing well. And that helps into the confidence factor. You know, you brought up some really good points about bringing some people into your life that are confident, and getting to know those people, and kind of psychoanalyzing that person to find out why it is that they're so confident. But I think that if you can keen in on those 4 factors, those 4 tools that you just given them, mindset, business, numbers, and product, and understanding all of that stuff, I think that you're well on your way to becoming a more confident real estate agent. And I guarantee you that it does come across when you're in front of a person and selling that person on yourself and what it is that you do for a living.
Now, let's say you're a new agent, right? And you are approached by a super high-end seller. Obviously, confidence goes, right? Because you've never been there before.
Right.
Right? So what do? You bring somebody who has.
Absolutely.
Right? And so one of the most amazing ways to build confidence in yourself is to have mentors.
Sure.
Right? Have mentors in your life, you know? And so mentors will often show you and guide you in the right appropriate way to do things that will help you build your confidence as a salesperson.
Absolutely.
Okay? So if you don't have it and you can't bring it to the table for that one particular deal, then bring somebody who can, right?
Yep.
And learn from that person and work that deal with that person. Go 50-50 on the deal, because guess what, ladies and gentlemen? You've heard it before. 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing, right?
Absolutely.
Confidence is the ultimate power.
It is.
Okay? So now, I believe, and I've heard this so many times before, and I really believe this, that your confidence is your value.
I would concur.
And your value has to, by far, supersede the product that you're selling.
Absolutely.
Or the service that's being provided.
150%. Couldn't agree with you more.
Because people want to work with you. We said it 100 times already, I think.
Sure.
If they know you, like you, and trust you.
Absolutely.
Right? And so if they know, like, and trust you, it's you that they're buying, not the house.
Right.
Or not the title work.
Agreed.
Or not the services that they're going to receive from your attorneys or your title girls or my agents or our lender or whoever else, right? What they are receiving or what they're buying into is you. The salesperson.
And you know, ultimately, their confidence in you is key.
Yeah.
So if the only way they're going to be confident in dealing with someone like yourself is if you're confident in yourself and everything that you bring to the table. So I would agree with every single point.
All right. So now, being motivated, right? That's a huge part of confidence.
It is.
Right? Because have you ever, like, do depressed people look confident?
No. They look depressed.
They look depressed.
Yeah.
Do you want to work with depressed people?
No one does.
Do you want to surround yourself by negativity?
I don't think anyone does.
Absolutely not. You know? Now, being motivated is one of the features that I look for the most when I'm hiring agents for my company. If you're motivated, I set the standard in front of you. And if you've never hit those standards before, yet you still say, I'm in, I'm going to go for that,
sure,
because I know that I'm in the right environment to do it, then it's a winning situation, is it not?
It's a win-win.
Right? And so if you're a winning situation in being motivated and bringing motivation to the table, and that helps build your confidence, and then you're even more confident because you're surrounded by the right people.
Right. Agreed. I think more often than not, David, and again, we find ourselves in these situations every single year, January 1st. We write down a list of resolutions. We write down a list of how we're going to accomplish those resolutions, hopefully. And we figure out at that moment in time, unfortunately, that one day, what really is going to motivate us to conquer those resolutions. So I would hope that everyone can find motivation in many ways, not just one in particular. But it's a good idea to write down what motivates you. It's a good idea to look at what motivates you every single day so that you keep it fresh in your mind and your memory, because a lot of people tend to fall away from that. Motivation is a huge part of what it is that we do and how it is that we strive for greatness. We've got to be motivated to accomplish things that many others haven't accomplished before. And you've got to be confident in order to be able to accomplish those things as well.
I'll tell you that really brings me back to Sinek's why, the understanding of why you're doing what you're doing. Why do you get out of bed in the morning? like me knowing you and us being friends,
Sure.
I know what some of your whys are.
Yeah.
One of them being your son.
Likewise.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so you know that you get up in the morning because of that young man in
Sure.
your life, you know? And so I look at this and I tell people often, figure out what it is that's driving you every single day to be in sales. Because let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen, sales is not a 9 to 5. It's more of a 9 to 9, okay? And sales requires you to have a level of self-motivation that creates the confidence that we're talking about.
Agreed.
You have to be self-motivated.
I couldn't agree with you more, David.
You can't look for someone else out there to self-motivate.
Tony Robbins isn't going to turn your business around himself.
You are.
You are.
Right?
Ultimately, self-motivation is key.
So
And
I call
motivation, I'm sorry to interrupt, comes in many forms and fashions. And,
it does.
You can sit down a group of 100 individuals, for example, and ask each of them what really motivates you. And more often than not, the number one response is going to be money, right? Because we're dealing in that.
Yeah.
But you'd be surprised that money, more often than not, isn't the top motivator. It's a lot of different things that surround your life and yourself. And you've got to keen in on those situations and understand and kind of force yourself to look at that harsh reality every single day and what's going to motivate you so that you can excel.
If you ask somebody that says, I'm motivated by money, if you ask them, why do you want to make money?
Well,
then we start getting to the real nitty-gritty
exactly.
of the,
Yeah, that's really the true
focal
motivation.
point,
And I think that people focus more on the money than they do the real motivation for wanting to have that money.
Yeah.
And
But they don't realize that if they focused on the real motivation, the money would be a consequence of how hard they work for that real motivation.
150%. And I've said it many a times, and I'm sure that the audience has heard it many a times. Money doesn't motivate me anymore. It did at one point or another, and I'm sure that it does many other people. And it's always a motivating factor, but it isn't the top motivation for us. And I believe that's
it's a means, it's a tool.
I believe that that's the entire culture throughout our organization. It isn't the main motivation. And so once you find that, I can't tell you what it is, only you know that. Once you find that, you're going to realize that certain things can happen in your life that you may have never thought can happen.
And as those things begin to happen, your confidence through the roof.
Booms.
I mean, through the roof, it booms, right? So confidence comes a lot with experience and education.
Sure.
We can agree that by having experiences in your life, having experience in your business, and educating yourself so that you know what you're talking about, confidence is a key factor that just naturally explodes within, right?
100%.
And so I'll tell you that one time, I'll never forget this, I was in the Marine Corps, high school graduate, and I ended up in a conversation with some older people that were also Marines, but they were a little more educated and so forth, so college graduates, so forth, so on.
Sure.
And I ended up in a conversation where I didn't have, not a lot of people know this story, by the way.
Okay.
Right? I'm putting this out there,
Sharing it
putting
to the world
myself out there for you.
Got
right?
it, okay.
I ended up in a conversation with a group of guys, and I had no idea what anybody was talking about.
Okay.
So I couldn't contribute,
All right.
which absolutely made me feel like the lowest of the low.
It killed you.
It killed me.
Right.
It killed me. I walked away from that moment saying to myself, I will never, ever, ever put myself in the position to be in such a normal conversation and have zero idea what's going on.
Right.
It was absolutely death-defying for me. It was the worst conversation I'd ever been in because me, who likes to talk, had nothing to say.
Right.
Right? You know? And so here I am, and it's not, I couldn't even BS my way around that conversation.
Right.
Like, they were completely out of my league.
Sure.
And now, I don't even remember what the conversation was about, you know? I just know that it drove me to get better educated, to read more, to go back to school, to learn more, to speak with more and more people so I can have more basis to the things that I was saying.
Right.
You know? And I thank God for that conversation. I thank God for that moment, because that moment turned who I wanted to be around a little bit.
Sure.
You know, it was one of the key factors that helped me realize that I was not at the end of the road, and I had so much more to learn.
Sure.
I had so much more to do.
And I don't think that ever stops. We're always constantly learning.
Always learning.
I think it's important for everyone to continuously educate themselves on things that they're not educated on right now.
And now I feel like with the education I have, maybe not the school, but the experience.
Right.
Right? The experiences that I've had in my life, I feel that I can be a key point in any conversation now.
A contributor.
So I can walk into any conversation with the utmost confidence and be a contributor to that conversation, good or bad.
Right.
Right?
And what does that do to your confidence?
It's huge. It's through the roof. And I'm not saying I'm going to stand in a circle of neurosurgeons talking surgery.
Sure.
Right? But I'm saying your normal, typical world news, market, you know, things that happen in my life, sure. I can get into that conversation and have a consistent conversation
Fantastic.
about it. And it just makes all the sense in the world that to have that knowledge, to have that experience, your confidence is at an all-time high.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, people will work with you again because they know you, trust you, and like you,
sure.
right? But you have to have that confidence from the moment that you walk through the door.
150%.
Can you walk into a listing presentation without having confidence?
You can. Will you fail?
More
Probably.
than likely. More than likely, right?
Right.
So I tell my agents all the time, guys, you can't go to the door with all your paperwork and all the research you did and knock on the door thinking to yourself, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing here. I don't know what I'm doing. No, man, you did all the research. You did all the homework. You know what to say. You know what to do. You've thoroughly trained for this,
And
right?
it's about that time that you believe in yourself.
Time, right? So I heard this once. I heard, don't mistake, and I put this on my Facebook once. If you follow me, you'll see it. Don't mistake nervousness for excitement, right? And so I heard this one time, and basically what this gentleman had said was he was watching the Olympics. And in the Olympics, the reporters would always ask, how did you feel right before you went out there? And they would say, I was so excited. I was pumped. I was ready to go.
Right.
Right? Now, he thought to himself, man, when I go on stage to talk and somebody says, you ready? How you feeling? I go, I'm nervous.
Right.
And he said he turned that little switch around in his head. And he said, now, when people ask him, you ready to go on stage? How do you feel? He says, I'm excited.
Excited.
Ready to go. Right? And so he said that nervousness and excitement release the same type of endorphins in your body.
Okay.
The same time. Your heart rate rises.
Yeah.
Your palms get
sweaty.
Right?
Sure.
You might sweat a little bit.
I think we've all
you know,
you
get a little
witnessed,
shaky.
we've all been a part of that.
Might need a little water.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it's the same thing.
It is.
Nervousness and excitement, right?
It really
Your
is.
baby's about to be born. Is that nervousness or excitement?
It could be a little bit of both.
A little bit of both.
Right.
But you're more excited than you
Sure.
are nervous. Like,
Agreed.
oh my God.
Agreed.
Right? So when you're knocking on the door about to go get that business, is that nervousness or excitement?
It has to be
depends.
excitement.
It has to be, but here's where it depends. Are you prepared or not?
Right. Did you
Right?
do your due diligence?
Did you do your due diligence? Did you walk up there? Did you set it up?
Right.
Did you do what you were supposed to do to get going right off the
Absolutely.
bat so that you can do what you need to do to be excited about knocking on that door versus nervous?
100%,
Right?
David.
Now, you know who's nervous? The poor kid that didn't do anything to prepare.
Sure.
The one that walked to that listing appointment thinking he knew everything about the market until one question comes up. Well, what about that house down the street that sold last month? Guy told me he sold it for $500,000. What do you know about that?
Zero.
Zero.
Zilch.
Dead. Done in the water, confidence level, garbage.
Done.
Right? So, preparation.
Preparation.
Education. You know, again, your mindset, your business, your numbers, your product. Right? Now, how long can it be before someone becomes that confident, that ultra confident? Like, I know it varies.
It does.
You know, what does it take for most people? Like, in your experience, you watching people.
I think it takes experience. I think it's a little trial and error. I think that it all stems from the mindset. It all stems from the belief systems. It all stems in, listen, you don't get into this industry unless you're confident in yourself that you're going to be able to sell real estate.
Yep.
So you won half the battle there. I don't think anyone's going to go take the test thinking to themselves that they're going to be licensed real estate agents and they're going to fail. So you took a bigger leap than most. And the confidence in yourself to think to yourself that you're going to pass that exam and sell real estate is a good, really good starting point.
Yep.
Now it's breaking past that and becoming ultra confident.
Yep.
And I think everything that we just highlighted will help to get you to that ultra confidence level. Again, mindset, business, knowing your business, knowing the numbers, knowing your competition, and knowing the product, most importantly, will excel you and accelerate your confidence to the level that it needs to be at.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from, I would say, two of the greatest people out there, right? Because we're confident in what we do.
Super confident, isn't he?
Right? So,
I love that.
Funny story before we close out. I don't think you made it, but we had the heroes breakfast at one morning.
I
right?
did not make it, no.
You didn't make it. I think Jen was there.
Yes.
I don't know if she came back and told you, but in my speech, I said, and my fiance, the luckiest woman on earth.
There you go.
And everybody in the crowd started cracking up. Sorry, I believe that.
But guess what? She believes it too.
She believes it. She believes it. And so, let me tell you something. You need to do your due diligence. Fix your mindset. Get your brain right. Know the difference between nervousness and excitement. Know your business and everything around it. Know your competition. Know your numbers. Get your numbers right so you know what numbers matter and where. So when you're asked at any given point of time, no matter where you are, not just for the meeting that you had the other day, but the networking event that you go to, or the friend your parents introduce you to, and they start asking you about the market. Know your numbers, and more importantly, know your product. If you're farming a specific area, know the product that you're selling, know the type of house that's there, how it's built, when it was built, what the oldest houses are, what the newer houses are, what the difference in the market value between them are. Know your product. Get out there, get educated, because confidence is the most powerful tool that you have in your arsenal.
Getting educated is a key point, and I know we're gonna leave on that note. But books, audiobooks, the internet, Google, it's all there for you.
It's crazy. You don't even have to read anymore. You just audiobook it.
You can.
You know, but
knowledge is power.
It's there, man. And
knowledge is power.
Google. Stop asking people how to do things. Google, YouTube it.
Absolutely.
Learn. Get out there and get focused.
This was a great session, David. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. I
You rocked
appreciate
it. Super confident man here.
Guys, get out there and grow your confidence. It's very hard to do, but it's easier than it's said, all right? I'm telling you right now, it's not an easy thing to do, but it's easier than you think it is. You get what I'm saying? You think it's too hard to grow yourself and grow your mindset and know everything about your business? It's not. You just have to take action and get it done. Talk to y'all soon.